what if you could actually bottle the feeling of spring? I'm not just talking about the smell of fresh rain or the warmth of the sun on your face. I mean that electric buzz in the air, that feeling of potential, of a new beginning where the entire world just seems to wake up and go green all around you. It's this powerful, hopeful feeling, right? Well, what if I told you that you can find that feeling not in a bottle, but right on your screen? Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to find the perfect anime to match your ideal spring mood. And look, this isn't just going to be another list of shows. Think of this as a curated guide, a way to explore all the different vibes that make this season so incredible. We're going to dive into why certain stories just feel like that first warm breeze after a long, cold winter. And by the time we're done here, you'll know exactly which show is going to give you that perfect spring feeling you've been searching for. So here's the plan. First, we'll quickly get into why spring is such a huge deal in so many of these stories. Then we're going to jump into 3 totally different vibes. That exciting, fresh start energy, the peaceful calm of the comfort of quiet, and that heart-pounding feeling of vibrant youth and first love. And then at the end, we'll wrap it all up so you can find your perfect vibe. So why spring? What's the big deal? Well, what's really cool is the cultural background here. In Japan, pretty much everything, the school year, the business year, it all kicks off in April. And this happens right as the cherry blossoms, the Sakura, are in full bloom. So you've got this national event that is totally cemented spring as the season for new beginnings, new schools, new jobs, you name it. And the Sakura themselves, they're this huge symbol of beauty that's, intense but also super temporary. That mix of a hopeful fresh start and the bittersweet beauty of the moment, that's the secret sauce in so many of the stories we're about to get into. Okay, so let's jump right into that feeling, the fresh start. This section is for anyone out there who just feels that pull for a new chapter. It's all about characters stepping out on their own for the first time, figuring out who they are, and navigating that exciting and sometimes terrifying world of independence. These are the stories that feel like taking that first deep breath of clean spring air. And we're going to start with an absolute classic that just nails this feeling. I mean, when you think fresh start, there's one story that probably just pops into your head. It's been called the ultimate fresh start story, and for a really good reason. It's a film that has inspired generations of people who are just dreaming of finding their own little spot in the world. Yep, you guessed it. We're talking about Studio Ghibli's masterpiece, Kiki's Delivery Service. This movie is so much more than just a movie. It's practically a rite of passage. It perfectly captures that wild mix of total freedom and crushing anxiety that comes with leaving home for the very first time. But what's so brilliant about it is how it shows that journey. See, Kiki isn't just starting a business. She's dealing with that universal question of what am I even doing with my life? And the best part? That moment she loses her ability to fly. That's not just some random plot point. It's the perfect metaphor for creative block, for burnout, that feeling we've all had where the one thing you love to do suddenly feels impossible. And her journey back isn't about some magic potion. It's about taking a break, connecting with people, and remembering she's worth something even when she can't fly. It shows us that finding your way isn't a straight shot. It's about soaring and, sometimes crashing, and then figuring out how to get back on the broom. All right, so from a Ghibli classic, let's jump to a more modern take on the fresh start. If Kiki's journey was all about building a life on the outside, our next story is all about the internal battle of finding your voice. Let's talk about an upcoming series that people are seriously hyped for, Silent Witch. So get this story gives us a totally different kind of fresh start. Our hero Monica is this crazy, powerful mage, but she has crippling social anxiety. So of course, her big mission forces her out of her cozy, quiet life and right into the middle of some intense royal drama. And that cottagecore vibe you see, it's everything. The lush forests, the sun-drenched rooms, they're not just pretty backgrounds. They're her safe space, the sanctuary she has to learn to step out of. All the nature blooming around her is basically a mirror for her own potential, just waiting to blossom. It's a story about a powerful person finding her voice, and the whole thing just looks like a warm hug. Now, if you're already feeling those magical spring vibes, do me a favor and smash that like button to let me know. And definitely stick around because we're about to shift gears completely away from the big adventures and into some serious peace and quiet. Alright, let's just take a deep breath. We've done the exciting forward-moving energy of a fresh start, but what if that's not your spring vibe? What if you're craving something slower? You know, quiet mornings, the gentle warmth of the sun, and just a feeling of total peace? Well, this next section is for you. These are gentle, thoughtful stories that are like a balm for the soul, perfect for unwinding. And we absolutely have to start with the show that is the undisputed champion, the gold standard of comfy anime. I'm talking about a series so relaxing, it should probably require a prescription. You know the one. It's Laid Back Camp. Okay, the absolute genius of Laid Back Camp is what it doesn't have. There's basically zero conflict, no drama, no bad guys, nothing. This is the heart of a genre in Japan called yashike, which literally means healing anime. The whole point is just to make you feel good. And the way it does that is by focusing on all the little details. We don't just see the girls camping, we watch them research their gear, pack their bags, drive up winding mountain roads, and carefully set up their tents. Seriously, you can almost feel the crisp morning air and see the steam rising from a hot cup of ramen. It's less of a story you watch and more of a feeling you get to live in for a little while. It's all about finding joy in the quiet, simple steps. Okay, so if Laid Back Camp is pure zen, let's look at another series that brings the comfort, but with a little touch of melancholy and supernatural wonder. If Laid Back Camp is about finding peace with the world around you, Natsume's Book of Friends is about making peace with the world inside you and connecting with things that others can't see. So our main character, Natsume, can see spirits, or yokai, and this gift has pretty much made him feel isolated his entire life. But when he gets this book that belonged to his grandmother, a book that holds the names of spirits she controlled, he decides he's going to set them all free. Each episode is this gentle little story where he heals some old wound, both for the spirit and really, for himself. The vibe is so soft, sometimes a little sad, but always deeply kind. It's this beautiful way of exploring loneliness and memory, and that slow, careful process of learning to trust people again. The spring feeling here is like an emotional thaw, like a heart finally opening up after a long, lonely winter. Hey, if you believe in the power of these quiet, kind stories, how about giving this a like to show some support? Now, our last show in the quiet section finds its comfort not in a sunny field or a magical forest, but in the peaceful stillness of the night. Let's talk about Insomniacs After School. It's about two high schoolers who both have insomnia, and they find this secret hideout in their school's old abandoned observatory. For them, the night, which is usually a source of anxiety, becomes the shared safe space where they can just be. It's a really beautiful, gentle story about being vulnerable and how finding that one person who just gets you can make even the loneliest hours feel okay. Okay, but what if spring for you is less about being quiet and more about that vibrant, heart-pounding energy of youth? Well, our next section is packed with exactly that. All right, let's totally shift gears. Buckle up because the energy is about to go way, way up. We've had our new starts and our quiet moments, but let's be real. Spring is also about an explosion of life. It's that restless energy, the butterflies in your stomach, that feeling that anything and everything is possible. This is spring fever, and we're gonna see it captured in stories about vibrant friendships, first loves, and that unforgettable, sometimes painful, intensity of being young. And here we've got two perfect examples of that energy, but they're totally different. On the one hand, you have Kimi ni Todoke, which is just pure, wholesome spring fever in a bottle. It's about this shy, misunderstood girl whose world literally goes from black and white to color when the most popular guy in school actually sees her for who she is. The whole show is basically about watching a flower bloom. And then you've got the electric freestyle energy of Kids on the Slope. This one's set back in the 60s, and it's all about a friendship built around a love for jazz. The music is basically its own character. Those wild, energetic solos perfectly capture how messy and passionate and unpredictable teenage friendships can be. So, which one is your spring anthem? The sweet, romantic ballad or the loud, improvisational jazz? Let me know which vibe you'd pick down in the comments, and hey, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our future guides. Okay, we cannot talk about this vibe without talking about the big one. This isn't just an anime movie. It was a global phenomenon. a film that took that feeling of youthful longing and the fleeting beauty of a season and turned it into an absolute visual masterpiece that basically defined an entire aesthetic. Of course, I'm talking about Makoto Shinkai's Your Name. The real magic of this movie is how it ties every single emotion directly to its stunning visuals. You know, all those famous Shinkai lens flares, the way the sunset paints the clouds, the light glistening on wet pavement. That's not just for looks. It's all there to crank up the emotion, to make a simple moment feel totally epic and cosmic. The story itself is built around this idea called musubi. It's this concept of the invisible threads of fate that tie people, places, and time together. And that's just a perfect way to describe spring, isn't it? A season of beautiful, fleeting connections where everything feels temporary, but also deeply, deeply connected. And for our last one in this section, I've got something a little different for you. It's a film that has that same jaw-droppingly beautiful aesthetic, but it tells a much more grounded, nostalgic story. And this one isn't a Japanese anime. It's a Chinese animation, or donghua, called Crystal Sky of Yesterday. This whole movie is just drenched in what I'd call the spring of memory. It's not really about living through your youth right now. It's about looking back on the springtime of your life. The story takes you back to high school in 1990s China, and it's all about friendship, big dreams, and that bittersweet pain of a first crush that doesn't work out. Those hyper-detailed backgrounds and brilliant blue skies, they create this idealized version of the past. Kind of like how our own memories make our youth feel so much brighter and more intense than it probably was. It just perfectly nails that feeling of looking through an old photo album and getting hit with this wave of warmth and sadness all at once. So, there you have it. We've gone through 3 completely different but equally spring moods. The hopeful energy of a fresh start, the gentle peace of a quiet moment, and the vibrant, electric buzz of youth. So the question is, which mood are you searching for this season? Okay, let's land this plane and bring it all together. The whole point of this guide wasn't just to throw a bunch of great shows at you. It was to give you a way to choose a story based on the feeling you want to have. It's all about you becoming the curator of your own seasonal vibe. And honestly, it's this simple. Step 1, identify your mood. Just take a second and ask yourself, what do I actually need right now? Am I looking for motivation, calm, a bit of nostalgia? Step 2, select your story. Just go back to the category that really spoke to you and pick the show that's calling your name. And finally, step 3, embrace the season. Put the show on, let yourself get lost in it, and let it become the soundtrack to your own spring. Now, if this guide helped you find your next watch, please show your support by hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications. We've got more guides just like this coming soon, and you are not going to want to miss our deep dive into the best anime for a cozy autumn evening. So I'll leave you with this. Spring is all about renewal. It's the one theme that runs through every single one of these shows. So I want to ask you, what stories, anime, books, movies, whatever, make you feel that sense of renewal? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.